Hi, viewers. My name is Upesh Jain, and I'm the founder and host of the Exec Talk channel, here in conversation with Dilip Saraf, LinkedIn's top career coach. We talk about a variety of topics that can benefit you in your professional and personal life. And today, we'd like to discuss a topic as to what should companies do to prepare a new cadre of AI-enabled employees. We always see in the press or hear on social media that employees are supposed to change themselves or their skill set to be more relevant in this world. So today we're going to talk about what should companies do to prepare a new cadre of AI-enabled employees. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Dilip. How do you interpret this? I mean, what's the company's responsibility to deal with this changing landscape?
Very good question, and I think it's a topic that's somehow missing in the stream of this discussion for three reasons. Number one, most organizations are so busy laying off people and investing that capital into their AI infrastructure that they're missing the point that they have the obligation to transform the organization to make it AI enabled. That's the first one, right? And the second one is their need to reconfigure the organization to help their employees who are currently working with them to make it easy for them to function in the changing environment. For that, they owe themselves a major obligation to train, coach, and give them the right assignment in the changing world of how AI jobs are being defined to make sure that they are successful. Because if they are not successful, the organization will not be successful.
Mhm.
And the third thing is all of the KPIs that typically organizations carry are legacy KPIs. You know, what is the revenue? What is the profit? What is the productivity? But in the AI world, those KPIs and even ROIs that come from the investments are no longer valid. They have a very different meaning in the new context of how AI provides value to an organization. So all those three things we can talk about, but those are the three things that organizations are missing with their current focus on two things, which is laying off employees and making large investment in AI infrastructure.
Mhm.
Things are very important to make all the AI initiative and transformation stick and become sustainable.
Right. So, if you're an executive
Mhm.
at an AI company,
Mhm.
what kind of initiatives should you be thinking about besides just investing in hardware and infrastructure and streamlining the operation and by laying off people?
Right,
I mean, how should you invest in your people
right.
or processes to get a better AOI and be better equipped to deal with this ever-changing landscape?
Great question. Great question. And so here are five things that I would like to list for you to show you what must be done differently.
Hmm.
First, the jobs tasks will be gone in a job, right? As I
Hmm.
told you before, mentioned before.
Hmm.
Because tasks and jobs are two different things. Tasks are subsets of the
Hmm.
superset of jobs. So when the jobs themselves morph into a different area of responsibility, like making a judgment call, showing creativity, challenging AI outcomes, and saying that's a wrong decision, that's not the decision we should implement. All of that takes a different sense of ownership and responsibility for employees,
Hmm.
which currently is somehow delegated upwards to their boss and their boss and executive and so forth.
Hmm.
But in this world of more and more AI interventions and systems, people on the front lines should be able to critically view what AI decisions are and which ones can be challenged for
Hmm.
the benefit of the organization and their customers. And
Just don't take things at face value.
no, no,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of the time systems are evolving AI systems hallucinate, they make false positives, false negatives. All of that is happening. And if people are not trained to challenge that, they will just accept the decision. You see what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
that will screw up the organization. So the new org design, which will have new job descriptions that says that any player at the boundaries of functional organizations has greater responsibility to make sure that they have the expertise to manage the boundaries and to
Hmm.
make the right call when things become critical. That's a new org design because our current org design is based on functional organization in that how people behave within that function,
Right.
right? But now in the new design, the more focus is on the people at the boundaries.
Hmm.
How do you empower them to make the right call and trust that call?
Right.
That's a new org design.
Hmm.
And so that new org design calls for a whole bunch of new things, including redefining traditional functions,
Hmm.
new job titles, new
Right.
KPIs, new norms. All of that is organizational design. And if
Yeah.
that is not in place, you just layering your organization, legacy organization, with layers and layers of AI, and that's not going to work.
Hmm.
Second thing is employee training, which means as new culture shifts how jobs get done in an organization, employees have to be trained to address those jobs.
Hmm.
But currently, in the traditional organizations, those boundary jobs, everybody points fingers and nobody does anything about them. I'm sure you've seen that.
Right.
But now in the AI world, because different functionalities may adopt different AI tools, that can happen, right?
Hmm.
And so when these different tools conflict at the boundaries, somebody has to have the power to make the decision and to make the right call.
Right.
It's the judgment call that's going to save the company and not relying on blind AI decisions. So
Right.
employee training is very critical to see how to manage this process and how to escalate it correctly. That
Right.
requires a whole new bunch of, norms, trainings, and
Skill set. Yeah.
right skill set,
Yeah.
right? The third one is KPI revamp.
Hmm.
Our KPIs traditionally are based on outcomes, output, speed, all of that stuff.
Hmm.
But in the AI world, none of that matters as much as the impact you create.
Right.
It's not how many AI tools you use, but how much impact you delivered as a result of the tools you use.
Hmm.
We rarely measure the impact. So the KPI revamp has to be at the organizational level. Somebody at the top has to say, we're going to come up with this whole new KPI suite that is now AI compatible compared to how we did before, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The fourth thing is
Hmm.
speeding of the learning loops, because now you have a new organization with new capabilities that are constantly being augmented.
Hmm.
The speed with which you get the feedback from customers, from the ecosystem, from the suppliers, and everybody who touches your business, that feedback loop has to be extremely fast
Hmm.
because the speed with which AI is evolving is very fast.
Yeah.
And if you wait for annual surveys to do it, you are sunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to constantly be on top of it. And the final thing I would say, number five, is ROI focus. What traditional CFOs have done is how much they invest in a particular initiative and what the outcome of that is. But in the AI domain, there are two vectors. One is transactional AI, which is improving CRM, improving
Mhm.
customer relations, including improving data analysis, all the transactional stuff, including speed of stuff, data gathering, all of that is pretty transactional, right? And you
Mhm.
can measure that with how fast you do it, how many errors you avoid, how many reworks you avoid, all of that stuff. That's all transactional. But more strategic is what we talked about, is how we change the organization to behave differently.
Mhm.
How do we tool the people in different functions, and how do we redefine new functions?
Mhm.
How do we define boundary capabilities?
Yeah.
How do we define judgment calls? How to make those judgment calls? All of that changes the way we measure ROI in our organization going forward. And
Absolutely.
for the CFO, that's a very important metric because if you don't set up the right matrix, it's all going to go the wrong way.
Right.
So those are the five things I think are very important for organizations to focus on as they do these things, lay off people, build the infrastructure. But this
Right.
organizational design, which may look like a soft end of
Hmm.
the organizational change,
Hmm.
extremely important. It's the software of the organization, if you want to metaphorically use that phrase.
Right. No, I totally agree with you, Dilip. I mean, uh, a lot of organizations look externally
Mhm.
as to what destination they're going towards, and
Right,
that's perfectly okay.
right,
But I think what you're also trying to emphasize is to look
right,
within the organization.
right,
And one aspect I also think is you've heard the expression digital divide,
right.
which came into being when the internet came into being,
Correct.
that people who will know the skill set versus people who are left behind
Mhm.
will create a huge divide.
Correct.
I also believe that's applicable to this age.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, there are certain people who lend themselves better to this changing landscape in terms of adopting AI techniques, or at least being open to hearing and learning about it.
Right,
Uh, so those people need to be identified and empowered in an organization to
right.
take the organization forward because they have an open mind and they are open to learning.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And once again, what I said before, I just want to amplify that a little bit. With the current focus on layoffs and building their infrastructure and hardware and all of that, is metaphorically to me the hardware aspect of the organization.
Hmm.
And all of the five things I mentioned are the software, metaphorically, of the organization. And
Right.
without the software going hand in hand with the hardware, the whole system is not going to work functionally.
Awesome. Thank you, Dilip,
Okay.
for these words. I'm sure it will benefit people across industries and into creating a framework that works for them.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.